We all love being in a relationship during the good times. But can your partner depend on you when life gets hard?
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this
Yes.
live. Today, we're going to be talking about we had nothing. People see the highlights and the reels of a relationship and they see things that they like, but they don't know some of the things that it took to get where we are. So we're going to be talking about we had nothing, but at the same time, we had everything because we had God and we had each other.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
We had God and we had each other. I love that. And that's very true. That really is the story of our marriage. Like, I think if I could sum us up, it would be that. In the good times and the bad times, we had God and we had each other. And so in that, I was meditating on that, babe, just today. And I realized that even when you find yourself in relationships suffering, whether it's through financial strain or whether it's just the two of you just can't seem to be on the same page, or maybe unfortunately there's been some infidelity, whatever it may be, I've learned that when you don't have God in a relationship, it makes it unbearable. It makes it so difficult.
I think it becomes even harder when you doing it on your own. You're doing it without God.
It does. Yeah. And I can honestly say, my love, that even in the darkest moments, I think that when you and I talked about this and we're just reflecting on where God has brought us, it's really like, man, if it was not for God, we would have not made it.
That's for sure.
And then even suffering in Christ is significantly different. Yeah. Because we still found joy when we did not have anything that the world would deem as arriving or having, such as money, material wealth.
When we look at society, when we look at social media, when we look at reality TV, when we look out into the horizon and we see how relationships are described, what we see the to-do lists that people tell you that you need to meet before you get into a relationship. Yes. If we were following that, we probably wouldn't be married. And because the truth is, we had none of those things. We had, because the society tells you, hey, you want to get enough money, you want to get your first home first, you want to make sure your bank account is looking good, your debt is paid off, you want to make sure you went to school and got your education, that you're working on your career, and then you're ready for marriage.
Right.
But I am a believer that every relationship doesn't look the same.
That's good, my love.
Every relationship doesn't operate by the same template. And so it is not wise to think just because it works for somebody that it will work for you, or because someone is doing it this way, you should do it that way.
Right.
I believe every person has to get to know each other. You have to work and figure out what works for you too, right? When we met each other, we didn't have money.
We did not.
We didn't have car.
We did not.
We didn't have a home.
We did not.
We didn't have success.
We did not. Not as the world deems it. We did not. No,
we did not. But then we still chose each other. In a moment, we're going to show a little bit from this week's podcast that was named the same thing. We had nothing, but we had each other. In that podcast, we talk details. So to get the fullness of this, you're going to have to go to the podcast on YouTube. During the podcast, I shared just a few things that I was going through before I met my wife. And I shared with her that when she met me, I had nothing. And I shared that with you. I shared where I was. It wasn't a good place. It was a place that other women had met me in, but didn't want anything to do with it. And I understand that. Sometimes people come into a relationship wanting to see what a person can do for them.
Right.
And it's only fair. If you're going to be with somebody, you want to know that they can contribute to your life. But sometimes you got to be a visionary. Sometimes
that's good.
Sometimes you have to be able to see in that person what they don't have right now. And sometimes the individual you meet might be an investment. God may be asking you to make an investment into this person, and you're going to reap the harvest later on.
You preaching.
That's what we did.
No, that is exactly what we did. And meeting you, babe, it had not, for me, even when you shared what you were going through. And like I said before, I really did not know until we got married and I moved to Florida. And I moved in with you and I was like, oh, this is different.
It was rough.
But I didn't marry you for that.
Right.
I did not marry you. And I've always been independent in the sense of My family always taught me the importance of working hard and taking care of yourself. My grandfather was really big on that, even though he was traditional in the sense of, taking care of my grandmother financially and all. He was old school. You didn't pay all the bills.
Right.
But he was like, I never want you to be in a place where you can't take care of yourself.
Right.
So he taught me all types of things. But so working every day and making my own money, that's just something I think that was part of my purpose. I enjoyed that. And so I married you because I loved you and I saw the God in you. Some women say, oh, I saw his potential. I can't say I saw your potential. I saw you. I saw who you were in God. I saw who you would be in my life. And even though you did not have anything, you didn't have the financial stability.
Yeah.
You had everything else.
Yeah.
You spoke into my life. You were a blessing to me. And I have said this before. I will continue to say it until I go home to be with the Lord. Since the day you've come into my life, you have brought me nothing but joy. In that, I would take joy. I would take peace. I would take love. And that's another thing, babe. You made me feel like I was it for you.
Yeah.
You chose me. And I would take that any day over a man who has money, has nothing else, no integrity, no principles. He doesn't honor and love God wholeheartedly. Because you can make money. That's easy to do.
Right.
But integrity, loyalty, being committed not only to me, but to God, there's no way.
The Bible says that a good name is rather chosen than money, than silver and gold.
Absolutely.
And I understood that. It means that has character and integrity has more value than a rich person.
Agreed.
Who doesn't have any at all. And we know people who are rich and wealthy and don't have any integrity.
That's right.
It was way deeper than that. I was in a situation where I had dreams and I did have potential.
You're always a big dreamer.
The problem was my circumstances said something different.
Didn't allow you to
It didn't allow me. So that was killing me. That was killing my self-worth and my self-esteem, because I grew up being taught that the man took care of the family. The man provided.
Right.
And so knowing all this here and believing it, I believe that, but not being able to do it. And I remember when we first got married, how you would go to work and I'll be home because I couldn't work. Didn't have a driver's license. I had so many restrictions. And I would watch you go and I would tell you that while I appreciated it, it was taking a toll on me.
You did.
I hated it.
To see your wife get up every day, get dressed, and go to work.
I hated it. I appreciated it, but I hated it.
I don't think I've ever heard you say you hated it. Wow.
But it was then that I understood then that I'm putting unnecessary pressure on myself. The two have become one.
Correct.
And sometimes, see, that's why I don't believe in 50-50. Because there are days when a person is not going to have 50. There are days when a person may only have 30 and you have to be 70.
That's right.
They may have
10, you got to be 90.
Right.
Because I don't show up every day 50-50, my love. So, I get it.
In a healthy relationship, it is not you against me and who can outdo the other person. There's no comparison.
Right.
We're in this
together.
And we're going to do whatever's necessary to make this work.
Right.
If it means me taking the weight for a season, then I'll do that. If it means you taking the weight for a season, then you do that. Whatever it takes for the both of us. It's us against the world, and whatever it requires of us, nothing can be too much. And so I learned that it was okay for my wife to hold me down for that season.
Ooh.
Because that's not the way I grew up.
Of course.
The man does
not
all
that strong island man. I'm sure.
The man does all that. And so so mentally, I could not receive it. I could not receive that my wife was paying the bills. You understood why. And I think that's what made it okay with you.
I understood why. And I think even me hearing you say you hated it like that was piercing. Because I knew it bothered you.
Not hate,
but no. I understand.
I
understand what you're saying, my love. I got you. But what I'm saying is, I think I didn't realize how much of a toll for you to use the word hate, because that was an intentional word. That means it was so piercing to you that you hated being in that place.
I wanted to get out of this.
But I do believe what the Lord allowed me to do as well, to never, ever throw that in your face.
You never did.
To never make you feel like this is my money. I make it. It was always us.
And you never made me feel less than a man.
No, because in my eyes, honestly, a man.
True.
Money to me does not make that to me, because I have seen men who make a lot of money, who do take care of their families, but they cheat. Their wives are not happy. And I'm not saying all.
Right.
I dare not say all, but I'm just sharing. I've seen men that have access and they don't walk in integrity.
I hear you.
And so money to me never meant he's a good man or he's more of a man if he has money. To me, a man, it has nothing to do with your financial state. And maybe because I personally didn't have anything. So maybe if I was sitting pretty, maybe I would feel a little different because some women, and I get it, they've worked very hard
Right.
to get to where they are in their lives and their careers. And then to have a man who cannot contribute, that could be detrimental. So
Right.
that's different. But once again, we shared that when we got married, I remember Dr. Jackson told us that. He said, you two don't have anything.
Right.
She said, but God is going to bless you. She said, you're young and you'll grow together, and that makes it even better.
Right.
Now I even understand those words even the more because I think we have more respect for honoring God in our marriage because it is Him who has really gotten us this far.
I think that there are things that we value in our marriage, in our relationship, that is way more important than money.
Absolutely, because money comes.
Because we've had none.
Correct.
And one day I'll probably show the photo. We have been without food. We have had many eviction notice on the door. We have been where we had literally cents, pennies and cents in our bank account.
That's right.
We took pictures of it because we never wanted to forget.
That's right.
But guess what? We found that it was probably one of the most happiest times of our lives.
We had joy.
Because we found that life was not consisting of those things.
It wasn't.
We loved each other. We loved the Lord.
That's right.
And we found we had joy.
We did.
Really did. We had a lot of joy.
We did. Even though we were suffering and going through hard times, we really did have joy.
Yeah.
We really did.
But I just want to go ahead and just very quickly invite you all, if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, please do so on YouTube and go to the podcast. When you go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, but go to the podcast. We have many episodes there that we upload once a week. This particular episode in its entirety has already been uploaded, so definitely go there and listen to it. I'm going to play a clip from this week's episode, and when we're finished, we'll talk about it, okay?
Nice.
Episode is about we had nothing. I want to direct this conversation into that. I don't want to rob you of this experience on this particular episode.
Absolutely.
Before I even met my wife, I had been going through a struggle for many years. Just couldn't get a job, I couldn't afford to get in an apartment or anything of those nature, anything that normal people would have. I did have an apartment because I was staying with some people, and together we had an apartment, but they left me there, and I was trying to foot the bills on my own with just part-time job that I had, entrepreneurship that I was working in at the time. For example, mowing the grass, lawn service, cleaning homes, detailing cars.
Yes.
I had some odd and ends jobs
Yes.
that I was trying to use to suffice for the lack of finances that I had, and it still wasn't enough. And so my apartment landlord, he was merciful to me. He had a lot of pity, and he would allow me to mow the grass around the apartment complex to help make some type of payment, right? Well, I couldn't make the rent. I just couldn't make it. So I was making payments on the rent by doing that. And so the rent went into 6-7 months behind, and there was no way possible. I just didn't have the means. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any family members here around that I can depend on, anyone to call. And so I just had to make a decision that I need to give this apartment up, but I had no idea where I was going to stay. I was just going to be out here. I just trusted God. And I called many of my friends. I opened my apartment door and I said, yo, come and take whatever you want. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where life is going to take me. I might pack my bags up and go home. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I was at a place where I didn't have nothing and I had nothing to lose. And I was willing to take that chance to give it all up, knowing that God would give it back to me again. I got a hold of one of my friends that I used to, as a music producer, we used to produce music together. And I asked him, he had moved to California, but he had a house there. And one of my other friends was also staying at the house. I asked him if I could stay there. And that's what happened. I stayed there. And I'm sure I'm missing some things because I stayed with a few more people before, right? That was my experience, where you stay with people and they put you out, or they don't want you to live there anymore. So that was my experience. I had housing instability. And so when I met my wife, I only had a plastic container with all my clothes in it. And I had a blow-up mattress that I had duct taped so many times because it kept going flat on me. and I kept blowing it back up and duct taping it. And so when you met me, I was sleeping on a blow up mattress and I had nothing. I was ashamed. That's why I didn't want to be in a relationship as well. I didn't want anybody to see that and know that about me, that I was struggling. But I never really did tell you what was going on with the blow-up mattress or nothing. When we started talking, you would call me, we would talk, and we would stay up at night talking, but I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up in the morning flat on the ground.
That's what you said.
Because the air had come out of the mattress. That's just one of my struggles. But I'm too ashamed to say, hey, I met this girl. I can't tell her. I don't want her to know my situation. Because as soon as people found out my real situation, they were gone. So I knew that everybody couldn't handle my real situation. But anyway, I decided to tell you. And you didn't say you were going to do nothing about it. You were just talking to me and I shared it with you. But you never said to me, I'll do something about it. I remember about 3 days later, I got a knock on the door and it was the UPS man. And the UPS man showed up with a blow-up mattress that you sent. And I that moment, that was probably one of the first moments that I knew that you were in this, that you had my back and that you were with me and that you cared about me and my well-being. That I didn't ask you to do that. You did that on your own.
You did not.
You met somebody who had nothing. Now, this is important because I remember when I had this conversation with my pastor, and I remember the conversation, and this is what she said to me. Both of you are starting from nothing, but don't despise the day of small beginnings. Don't despise the fact that you both don't have anything. God will bless both of you. And that's the thing that we had in common. We weren't rich. We didn't have success, but we had God and we had each other. And that was the beginning. But me and you had some other struggles that we will continue to share in the next couple episodes. But that was the first time that I saw somebody stood up for me, took a chance on me. You didn't have to do that. But that was something that stood out to me. And I remember that somebody heard my situation without me asking.
That was a real picture. That was a real picture.
That took me back. During that time, I lived with great fear. I lived with fear every day that anybody I was staying with was going to ask me to leave at any given moment. So the plastic container and the blow-up mattress was me being prepared to leave at any moment. I live on the run. I live in a fight or flight mode always. I live expecting to be rejected, to be cast out. I live with that. And so I never felt safe. I'm here. I have no family members. I don't have anybody I can depend on, no one I can call, and I don't feel safe. There's no place to call home. There's no peace. There's no rest. And then I meet you. So you sending me that blow-up mattress meant the world to me. It meant the world to me that somebody cared about me.
I saw you.
You saw me.
I saw you.
And you cared about my safety and you cared about my life.
I did.
You cared about my welfare.
I did.
I love you for that. I appreciate you for that.
I love you.
That you stood by me in the hard times. And what that taught me was anybody who was down for you in your hard times deserves to have a seat at your table.
Oh, that's good, my love.
So that's why you don't have to ask me for nothing.
I hear you, baby.
That's why you don't ever have to ask me for nothing because you deserve everything and more.
Who are you trying to make me cry on live? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, my love. Just sit in the moment.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really didn't know what you were going through until I moved here and moved in with you. I never doubted getting married. I never had nerves. I never was like, is this the right decision? Now, my family, they just could not believe that you and I were getting married. They were afraid. They were like, you don't even know this man. I'll never forget that. I got to tell you that. It's impromptu, but this is good. I remember we got our marriage license. Then I went home and told my mother and my grandmother, I said, we're getting married in 2 weeks. I told my grandmother first. And anybody who knows me knows that my grandmother and I are extremely close. So she gets on the phone and she's frantic. She's like, Angela, she said that she's getting married and I don't know what to do. And she doesn't know this man. And because I could understand that fear, but I knew that it was God. I knew that God brought you in my life. I knew that my destiny, Dr. Jackson always talked about how she knew that her destiny was attached to her husband. I knew that. I have never felt so sure about a person in my life other than God and you. You understand? Like I've never been like, oh, this wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I don't think I should have married this. I've never had that. And there were people who told my mother, she'll be back. She'll be back. They were afraid that I was leaving. And babe, I left everything with no hesitation. My family, everything that I ever known, the security that I had, I left it. I left a good paying job, my apartment. And when I left, I want y'all to check this out. When I left, I didn't have a job.
You didn't.
I quit. I put in my 2 weeks notice at my job. And I was moving here truly when people say, oh, I trust God. And I really did.
Yeah.
And I left by faith. When I left Ohio, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a lot of money saved up. And I was moving in with you, and you had a roommate.
Yeah.
So you and I, the first year of our marriage, we were confined to a room.
Yeah.
One room. The room that we were renting from your friend.
Yeah. That's the truth.
And I remember we were happy in that room. I remember that. Ooh, goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a betting woman, but I would bet on black. I'm going to bet on you, babe. You hear me?
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on you, babe. I'm going to bet on you. But in all honesty, when I heard what you were sharing, like what was going on, I just felt compelled, like, I love him. And I don't even know if it was like I'm head over heels in love.
Yeah.
But we were building this great friendship. You were honest. And this man is having how can I help?
Yeah.
And it wasn't me trying to impress you or trying to do any of that. It was me hearing you and wanting to help.
You did.
That was it. It really had nothing to do with me like, oh, I'm going to do this because he going to fall in love with me. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was
you
not
heard
that.
me, but we were just having casual conversation.
We were.
I didn't know
you
that
were just sharing.
You were actually listening to me.
Right.
And of course, it took everything in me to tell you that I was struggling with a blowout mattress, that I couldn't afford to buy one. And I'm duct taping every day because holes just, blowout mattresses,
they're the
holes
worst.
just pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think I just finally told you, because we would be talking on the phone,
and you'd be like, babe, wait a minute.
And I'd be fall asleep and wake up in the morning and I'm flat on the ground.
I'm laughing not because it's funny. I'm laughing because we can laugh at that now.
Yeah. But you didn't say a thing to me. I think that convinced me.
That was me saying, I'm here for you and I love you and I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small gesture, but a big deal to me.
Thank you, my love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you know what, babe? First of all, I thank you for your transparency and being vulnerable as a man to even share that with the world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To share that I didn't have anything. And I appreciate that. And I really hope that those of you who tune into us weekly, we appreciate that. We love you all. I pray that us just sharing our love story with you all will encourage you to know that God has a special person for you and that life can get hard. Yeah. It can get hard. But I've learned that when you truly love someone, that you can really get through anything. I truly believe that.
Yeah. Especially
I think that's our life
together, babe.
Absolutely.
The struggle,
much better together.
The struggle didn't break us.
That's true.
We talked about the car accident last week.
We
the
did.
Car accident, all the other things that we experienced, the many times that we would get a slip coming through the door because it's a 3-day notice.
Yeah.
Eviction notice.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on.
It goes on
from walking and catching buses all over town.
I was pregnant and walking.
9 months pregnant and catching buses.
Yes.
One neighbor told me, boy, why don't you go get that girl a car? And I said to myself, yeah, it did break me down because she had no idea.
Yeah.
She had no idea what I was going through.
Right.
And I was like, I just wish it was that easy to just go and get her a car, because I would do anything to help my wife not be walking to the bus stop with me. And we catching 3 buses to get to a place that only took 15 minutes.
That is so true. That's so true. Humble beginnings, though.
But we thank God for the people that God put in place.
Absolutely.
To support and who help along the way,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I believe that the struggle, as I said, it didn't break us, but it showed us who we really were. It showed me that I had a true friend. I had a true partner.
Right.
I had someone that is down. Yeah. Someone that I can trust. And I know that in the hard time, I told you what happened when you were in the car accident.
You realized.
I felt it. It is switch. I felt a switch in me.
You fell in love. No,
I was already in love, but
I got you.
But it got deeper.
It's different.
It got deeper.
Yeah, it's a deeper.
Because I'm looking at this woman with both wrists broken, you have a boot on your leg, and this big old mark on your chest from the seatbelt. Car is total. In that moment, I'm looking at somebody who all the physical things that men fall in love with.
It's true.
You couldn't do either. You couldn't cook.
Well, I still don't do that, but yeah. But I did cook today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You didn't have to say that.
I had to throw that out. Man, let me tell you something. The one thing I'm not gonna lie to the people. We love you so much. I can do it without you, babe. I'm sorry.
My wife told me.
Did.
She would.
You gonna tell the people that? Tell them. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
My wife told me she would rather work 2 jobs as
full-time jobs. I work 80 hours a week than get in that kitchen and cook.
Yeah, she said I would rather work 2 jobs than to cook.
That's a fact, okay?
But it showed me that my love for you is way greater, way deeper.
I hear you, baby.
Than physical things. And I think from that day to this very day, it really made me bury the shallowness and the immaturity that I think many men deal with, because that's the way we're shaping in society to think like that. She needs to be drop dead gorgeous and fine and have this certain shape and all this stuff here. But she could be dumb as a rock, foolish as ever. And I told you what I told God, don't get me no foolish woman.
That's right. You don't want a foolish woman.
I remember when Dr. Thomas Jackson was sick, and Dr. Jackson and I was driving her to the Morford Center in Tampa, and we were having this conversation. I don't know what brought the conversation up, and I know I asked the question, but I was asking her about what was motivating her, because she was doing everything in her power to find help for him, to get him the help that he needed. And this is the man that I saw take care of his family, had all the money, had all the fine clothes, all the nice homes, all the fine cars, and he's now in a place where he barely even knows his own self. And I saw her fighting with her entire life. And I remember her telling me, when you marry someone, you don't marry them for biceps and triceps. Can they be down for you when you have nothing?
Oh, that's
when you
good.
can no longer give them what they want, when you can no longer be all that they wanted you to be. You and I were just watching a podcast this week.
Diabolical.
Yeah, where the
I'm sorry.
We saw 2 episodes where the woman husband took care of her and
for a year and a half after she had brain cancer. Let's be clear.
Yeah, he took care of her, nursed her back to health.
Correct. For a year and a half. Dedicated his life for a year and a half to nurse his wife back to health from the brink of death. Yeah. I just want to throw that out there.
And she turned around and now don't want to be with him because she don't feel love.
And it wasn't even love. She said she didn't feel She didn't feel appreciated. So how long should I stay in my marriage, if I don't feel appreciated?
A lot of times people just end stuff because of what a person can do for them. That's what you don't want to do.
Right.
As I said, you have to weigh that out, okay? But because we both had nothing, we were starting from scratch. So we could do that.
Right.
Right? It probably wouldn't have been fair to someone who had gone to school and had built their career and probably had lots of money. It probably wouldn't have been fair to them to take on somebody like myself who had nothing.
Right.
So we were perfect.
That's true. No, but I agree with you, my love. I totally, absolutely agree with you. Listen, but we love and appreciate you. And listen, love is a daily decision. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep choosing love.